Okay, positioning your offer daily is a very easy and simplified manner that you can do this, but you have to keep in mind that the thing you want to focus on is having a clear offer. If you are going for something more elaborate, something more of explaining yourself in every shape or form, it's not really going to work out for you, especially if you're trying to use like jargons, which in the marketing industry tend to be used a lot, and or if you're trying to go too far as to try to come up with just weird, unclarified sentences or headlines or hooks in order to grab their attention. Meanwhile, there's no substance there. So selling the process instead of the outcome. The main thing you want to do as a beginner is do not sell the outcome as a glorified promise, because you're going to see that people will just immediately realize that you're just trying to hype up things and you don't have substance to deliver on the things you're promising. Especially if you're using like 50 AI tools, or I don't know, like 10 calls per day or 10 calls per minute or something like that. It sounds ridiculous to the point of they don't know if it's true or not, and most of them are skeptical about what you're saying. So ideally would be to have something reasonable that people can say, yes, I can probably do that, rather than coming up with something very unrealistic that people say like, this looks too sketchy. Other than that, instead of doing that, you want to position yourself as having a clear transformation and a clear process to walk people through it. Okay, so for example, you want to learn how to help people to get to some outcome, like 5K per month, using a specific tool, like an AI automated tool, whatever tool it is, Notion dashboard, GHL, whatever it is, like ClickFunnels, etc. Other than that, you also want to have them get a specific outcome by eliminating a certain task or a certain failure, or you can help them acquire a certain product, or using a certain product or they already have, in order to get a specific amount or a revenue within the 90 days. Okay, so that's also a way you can do it, so that you focus more on the process and the transformation rather than an outcome or a feature that it gives you. Other than that, the 3 point of positioning the offer or yourself within the market will be the following. First of all, who this is for. When you talk within your content and your offer or your VSL, you want to focus on specific persons within that, I would say, industry. So when you talk about specific person, we are talking about describing or giving a definition who that person is. So in this case, I'm talking to solopreneurs, but if I want to make it more clearer, I can say solopreneurs are struggling with something specific. Solopreneurs that are feeling a certain way, or solopreneurs that are feeling, stuck within their 9-to-5 job or something like that. So then I can describe what is the current situation or stage they are in right now in their life. Then the solopreneur will decide for themselves, like, wow, probably they're talking to me, let me check it out. Second to that, the core promise. The core promise has to be something specific people identify. So over here, it's getting from 0 to 5K using the AI automation tools. So people already know, what is this about? Hey, you're getting 0 to 5K using AI automated tools. So simple, clear, and understandable. If you try to add more stuff to it, you probably can confuse the person, and the person, if it's confused, is not going to take action on it. The third thing, why now? So why they need to take action is because, one, you have limited spots, and two, if they leave so many days to go by, they might suffer the consequence of paying more or staying out. So you have to put in a deadline, and you have to put in a limited spots, like a scarcity effect on it, so that you follow through with that and then make people take action immediately. So if you give an example on this, specific offer beats any irresistible offer. Specific offer, as we just said, is clear and straight to the point. So you don't want to use a high-performance business accelerator, because it's too much, as I said, too much of many different jargons used out there. What you want to try to do is like use something specific, like get your first $1,000 online in the next 30 days. It's so clear. Anyone that asks you what is that about, then you can say, hey, get into my first $1,000 a month, within the next days or weeks, etc. With that, again, the audience knows exactly what it is. If they are in that stage, they take action, and even after buying, they don't have buyer remorse, because they know exactly what the outcome is that they have purchased for. Okay, so that makes it more clearer for them to understand it. Now, if your audience cannot point to an exact outcome or process or transformation that they want, they will not buy. Okay, because again, clarity is the thing that will drive the sale. Now here, if you want to have instantly, a chance to increase your demand for your offer, what you want here is to implement lack of urgency, scarcity and urgency in order for you to do that. Because if you lack the scarcity or urgency, people feel like, I'll do it later. Okay, they will leave it for the future. They will leave it for the coming days. They will leave it for the coming end of the month. Ideally, you want to push them to take the action because you want to eliminate all the objections. So first of all, you want to cap the numbers of people do you let into by having limited spots, as we just said. Second, you want to have a deadline so that they feel like, hey, if I don't move, they pay the consequence of price going up. So you add a deadline to it. And then you raise the price over time. So if you're doing a workshop at the beginning, set it up for like, $10, maybe $20, then $30, then $40, then $50, etc. So every round of the workshop, you increase with $10 or $15. So that this way you feel that you're progressing when it comes to you making the pitch for a higher price. But at the same time, the audience is also taking action because they, from their understanding and perspective, they're seeing that if they don't take action, they will pay the consequences, okay? So with this, you want to ask yourself, why you, why not? And test this so that you can get buyers to pick you over your competitors. Now, buyers, I'm talking about people that are ready to buy your stuff, okay? Might be on your newsletter, might be on your social media. Okay, so why you is that you have to make and clarify the difference in your copy and or in your content. Okay, so in your copy for your offer, you can clarify why you are skilled to be able to do that. Now in your content, it's because you're competent. People see that you're versed and or educated on or have experience on solving a specific pain point or problem. Now why now is because, again, you are doing it for a limited amount of people. You're only doing it for a couple of days. You're only testing it out maybe as a beta offer. So ideally, you want to be able to make them take action immediately so that they can benefit from the thing you're trying to give them. An example is here is I built a 10K per month business using a newsletter and AI without ads or outreach. And then you say you'll learn the exact system inside my program within the next day or two, or before the end of this week. Front doors close on Friday, something like that. Because doing like that as the base, you can modify it. So you would say, for example, I've built this exact framework for getting your first clients on LinkedIn, for example, and straight to my newsletter and turn them into a $59 or $49 or $500 sale, something like that, within the span of 7 days. If you want the system, take action right now because I'm closing doors on Friday. Something like that. I'm just giving you guys an idea here, but the more you experiment with the framework of this that I'm giving you an example, the more you will start seeing you can come up with variations in order for you to be able to pitch every single week. Okay, so within every week or bi-weekly, you can have a lead magnet, you can have a VSL, you can have a workshop, you can have a mini course, whatever you want to give away, and using that framework at the end of your post. Or you can use a post specifically for that as well, if you are interested in doing direct instead of into a story, then the call to action. Okay, so this way you can also build trust and urgency as well. Now, if you raise the prices, you want to make sure that you are doing it easier for yourself by raising it in a level that you can see that it not only scares people, but at the same time people feel like, hey, if I don't do it now, I'm going to miss out. So ideally, you want to have these 3 points into place. First of all, the cost of inactivity. So what it will cost them if they don't join. Okay, so that will be the consequences they will pay if not take action. What will be the ROI? So how much can they make from this? So ideally, if someone were to implement it within their business, what are the potential of them like doing like a 3x, 4x, 5x, etc. And also the alternative. So if you can even see other offers out there, if this is fastest, if this is easiest, if this is more clearer, if this is more efficient, blah, blah, blah. By doing this, you can say like, hey, if my offer is allowing you to do this, this is ideally the offer you want to use. Why? Because you explain the reason why, and then you compare it to someone else or something else that you know that is popular out there so that they can see the difference. And from there, you can say, hey, if you don't act today, by the way, it will go higher in price, so you're missing out on this opportunity. All right. As a final positioning tool, what you want to have in mind is that you want to get the offer as clear as possible so that people can take action on it. So the framework, as I said, you guys can play around with and start with will be I help a specific person achieve results within a time frame without a big objection. Okay. Now again, you can modify this to fit whatever you need, but 2 examples I can give you. I help digital nomads and make 5K within 90 days without using ads, or you can help coaches launch and sell digital product within the next 90 days or within the next 30 days or without a big audience. So you can play around with this. This is super simple, but you have to make sure that the simplicity stays in a specific format so that you know who the target audience is, and then you play with this framework. I do not expect you guys to go and use this framework as a copy and paste because it sounds so redundant and many people have overused it, but it's a good framework for you to start experimenting with and start it out different. Instead of help, you can say I teach, or instead of I help, as you can say I work with, or you can say solve the next problem or the following issue, etc. using my blah blah blah. So that's how you can kind of play around with it. And if you guys have more questions, you're doubtful, you have any question about this framework, leave them down in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to get back to you and see you on the next video if anything, or check out my offers and links below so that you can find out more information to work with me. Take care.